Okay, you guys, I'm in my new office. I don't know how it's going to sound. It doesn't sound too reverby to me, but I'm planning to put up some sound panels at some point just to sort of block any potential reverb out. There's no carpet in here and it's just a bunch of bare walls, but I've got a lot of stuff crammed in here already, so maybe that's helping some. Anyway, I'm not fully settled in, and I don't even know what I was getting ready to. Oh, I was saying I'm in my office. Oh, I know what else I was going to say. There are several videos that I filmed before I moved, so this will probably appear out of sequence. Also, there is so much going on right now that I'm not sure how much new filming I can do in the immediate future, but I do have, like I said, a bunch of video material already saved up from before. Precisely because I kind of figured something like this would happen, that I would just get so overwhelmed and too busy with what I'm doing right here that it would impede my ability to film the way I want to. I'm also kind of distracted with my dog, Dora, the old lady that was barking in one of my videos a while back when I think it was my Mitch Hedberg video. She is not doing very well, and I found out, confirmed, that she has a very big tumor, and so at this point it's just a matter of time for her. So that's kind of put me in a little bit of a downcast mood. Certainly it's something that we have been expecting because she's very old. She's almost 16 years old, but still it's kind of sad, she's been with us forever. So that's going to be rough whenever it happens. It hasn't happened yet. She's laying over here somewhere around me on the floor. But anyway, that was just kind of like a bit of a sort of announcement-ish type of thing, that it's possible I might not film new stuff, but a lot of it just really depends on how the day is going. Honestly, I tried to film for the past couple of days and I just have not had it in me. I'm just tired and worried and stressed and just feeling like, oh, and I've mentioned this in some of my recent videos. So this kind of ties into that sentiment that I've been feeling. This is a video. It's an interview that George Carlin gave. I think they said at the very beginning that it's dated, or that it was a 2007 interview. And the title is George Carlin on Why It's Important Not to Give a Mierda. And I figured this would actually be a really great video to watch right now, because I do care about a lot of stuff, sometimes maybe more than I should. And, being on places like certain social media outlets, they don't really help very much, do they? Because everybody's so emotional and so dramatic and everything. But anyway, I don't know exactly what he's going to say, but I am familiar with Carlin, so I kind of have an idea where he might go, but I might be wrong. So let's go ahead and check it out.
I was a victim of my own success, and I did some Ed Sullivans I hate. On those Ed Sullivan shows, I began to realize, not just there, everywhere, all these shows, I didn't fit. And here's what I was missing. I was missing who.
I wonder if he's referencing, so I saw on YouTube somewhere an old clip of him, a black and white clip of him on some show, and maybe it was the Ed Sullivan show. So I'm wondering if he's specifically mentioning one of those appearances. Okay.
I didn't fit. And here's what I was missing. I was missing who I was. I began with a dream of being Danny Kaye, which is a very mainstream dream. It's very middle America. It's a people pleaser job.
Yeah.
And I dreamed a path that was traditional. Comedian, disc jockey, comedian, actor, big success. a mainstream dream. Meanwhile, what I really was an outlaw and a rebel because I had lived that kind of life. I got kicked out of 3 different schools. I got kicked out of the Air Force. I got kicked out of the choir. I got kicked out of the altar boys. I got kicked out of summer camp. I got kicked out of the Boy Scouts.
Oh, he didn't fit in anywhere.
And I quit school at 9th grade. I had great marks. I was a smart kid, but I didn't care. They weren't teaching what I want. I didn't give a shit.
Well, that's the thing about schools, well, I guess, so yeah, even back then when he was younger, so schools, especially the American school system, but this is probably the case for most of them in general. Our school system was, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before in one of my videos, but our school system was founded on the framework of the Prussian military. And it was specifically created to churn out a population of people that was smart enough to follow direction, but not smart enough to question authority. And that is still really very much built into the framework of the school systems today. Granted, some schools have gotten better than others, but you had different types of schools, like Montessori and all that sort of stuff. So, certainly there have been ones that have branched out into better frameworks. But I mean, schools and also the universities that people go to, in a lot of ways, they are like propaganda type machines. I mean, they try to compel you to think a certain way, to act a certain way. And I'm not even specifically talking about just behaving yourself as far as, just being decent, but they try to shape your mindset about so many things, that the things that they want you to think. And I can see someone like George Carlin not really falling in line with that sort of thing very well. Now, when I was in school, I was very, I was quite the obedient one in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I also felt kind of resentful at the things that we were being forced to consume that I felt was really ridiculous and a waste of time. So I get where he's coming from for sure. And maybe my mindset of today in my teenage body of back then, I certainly would have pushed harder against the authority that was, being inflicted on us. Certainly, I wouldn't probably do quite so well in school if I had that mindset. Okay, so let me go back.
Marks, I was a smart kid, but I didn't care. They weren't teaching what I want. I didn't give a shit. It's important in life if you don't give a shit. It can help you a lot. So I didn't give a shit. And I was a pot smoker when I was 13. We broke the law. We broke into cars. We broke into offices. We broke into Columbia University. We broke into stores.
He was one of those kids.
We did all sorts of unlawful things. Oh. And I was that kind of person. I was one who swam against the tide of what is expected and what the establishment wants from us.
Right.
But I didn't know that about myself because this dream blinded me. This dream was about America, about the path that we all follow, the middle of the road, middle class America, mainstream will dream. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there like this, fuck those people. Fuck that shit. Look at this stupid shit. No, I don't want to be in the bunny number. Can I get out of the bunny number, please? I don't want to put on that fucking uniform. And I didn't know this dissonance was inside me. And in the period this is happening, all through the 60s, the counterculture was forming. The free speech movement started in Berkeley. The hippies were growing into a full.
Oh, that's so funny that the free speech movement started in a college, and yet now it's like one of the last places for free speech. It's like they've done a complete 180.
It's forming. The free speech movement started in Berkeley. The hippies were growing into a force, and peace, love, power, flower power, pot smoking, anti-authority. See, bing, 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 anti-authority. Mm-hmm. Throw over the establishment. Burn down the math building. Wow. Ding, 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 ding. So I gravitated toward that because I was that person really. And the people I hung around with were that way. The musicians I knew in the late 50s had gone through that transition. Suddenly they looked different and their music changed. And I'm listening to people like the Buffalo Springfield. I'm listening to Bob Dylan. I'm listening to these people, and I realize these artists are using their talent to project their feelings and ideas, not just please people. And I suddenly was able to see my place and to realize I was in the wrong place. You see, in 1967, the summer of love, the peak of the hippie movement, I was 30. I was entertaining people in nightclubs who were 40, and they were at war with their kids who were 20.
Yeah.
There was a generation war. Right. I was in the middle of it. I was 30, 20, 40. And I'm going, see, what the fuck am I doing over here? These are the people that will at least understand me and give me a chance. So it took 2 years. I didn't go to the mountain and come back different. I didn't do a Bobby Darin. I didn't do a whatever, those people who just go away and they're back new suddenly. I took 2 years to change, and it happened on television. So I had denied that part of myself, and finally it came into full flower. And I never became a really big success until that. I probably had 200 television appearances.
Well, that's because he, like he said, he was going with the flow. He was just doing what was expected. He was just your basic vanilla type of stand-up comic. That's what he was. And it wasn't until he broke away from that and found his own voice, or found the resolve to express his own voice, that's when he got noticed. I mean, it's like that in a lot of different things. Like sometimes it's just someone who a lot of times is going to get noticed in whatever it is. It's going to be people that do things differently a lot of times. I think it's kind of that way in almost any sort of area. I mean, I'm speaking very generally, but yeah. So follow your own, listen to your own, it's that expression, march to the beat of your own drummer, that sort of thing. I know that sounds really cliched, but it's true in a lot of ways.
Success until that. I probably had 200 television appearances by that time, and I still wasn't realized as a writer, comedian, as a comedian. By that I mean I hadn't let myself grow into that, and I found out later I was more than just a comedian.
He was like a social commentator. That's what he was. Well, that was probably the most subdued I've ever seen George Carlin. I was not expecting him to be so even keel, I guess, because I guess it's just because of the energy of his stand-up. And you guys know, you're familiar with him. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But this was interesting. This was a nice little something different sort of video to check out. I mean, I certainly know what he's talking about. I don't think I'm necessarily as brave as him when it comes to really forcefully establishing yourself in a different way. I mean, I don't know. Maybe sort of just my channel on YouTube is something like that, but it's just me just talking. We're just talking about stuff. So, but I get what he's talking about, and I agree with the importance of not necessarily conforming to everything around you, and not giving a crap. So anyway, I can't think of anything else to add, and I feel like someone is walking into the office, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for now. Later.